Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Book It Vince, the Wrestling Dream Match podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Martin Bennett, and with me, as always, is the Belfast Bruiser, Anthony Hall.
Oh, shit. Belfast Bruiser. There's only a select amount of men that this could be. Which of the
First, the question is,
countries?
First, my question was going to be, do you know where Belfast is?
Is it in Ireland?
Yes.
Is it Ireland?
Yes.
Is it Fit Finley?
Yes, it is Fit Finley.
Oh, it is? Yes.
Yeah. Dave Fit Finley.
Oh, yes. The master of the shillelagh.
I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, and with a lot of women's wrestling, he gets brought up a lot because he was kind of the behind the scenes dude at WWE who pushed for like a better division and helped produce a lot of matches and stuff.
That's lovely.
He helped bring back the women's title in the mid 2000s. And worked with Trish Stratus to build that division up to bring back the title and everything. So
he also worked with the super heavyweight Hornswoggle.
You mean super? Is there even a weight class? Featherweight. Well, I know in fighting there is, but I don't know if in wrestling there's a super cruiserweight. Is that a thing?
Super cruiserweight Hornswoggle. Yes. What a pairing. A pairing that in today's standards would never fly.
Yeah, maybe not necessarily. But but yes, Fit Finley, incredible. Hornswoggle, also incredible.
Yes.
But we got a great episode for you this week. If you don't know what we do here on Book It Vince, every week we dream, book, fantasy book, wrestling feuds and matches that we so desperately wish we could see in professional wrestling. And we do that here with you, the audience. So if you enjoy what we do here, please follow or subscribe to the podcast on whatever app you get your podcasts on. And follow us on Twitter at Book It Vince Pod. So you can come and interact with us there too.
Yes. Oh yeah. You could also watch the video version of the pod on YouTube, so you can see our cool t-shirts. Marty is wearing his Britt Baker t-shirt, and I am wearing a fresh to death Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Cold
t-shirt.
Steve.
Cold Steven.
Cold Steven, as Danhausen would say. Which, by the way, I've been getting more and more obsessed with Danhausen. Yeah, I think he's just incredible. He's a genius.
Come on to our Podhausen.
That would be
Danhausen.
Danhausen on the Podhausen would be ridiculous. So
hit us up. I mean, we'll hit you up incessantly until you come onto the Podhausen. So that's a warning. Fair warning to you.
Fair warning. So this week is your turn to pitch.
Yes.
A dream match. And
yes.
So what is it that we will be doing this week?
Okay, Marty. Well, it's been a tough week for the WWE and for the NXT brand specifically, because they're making some questionable decisions, releasing some very, 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 very good talent.
What do you mean? They're
today
budget cuts.
Yeah, sure. Budget cuts. You're making so much goddamn money over the pandemic, and budget cuts. You got record profits and budget cuts. Huh? Are you kidding me? You kidding me?
It is sad, but also these people are going to go and do stuff. They're so talented.
Yes. And to make lemonade out of lemons, we are going to take the finest lemon, not Kona Reeves. Sorry, this is not a Kona Reeves episode.
Why are you calling him out like that? Just dunking on him.
He is the finest, but we are going to take the man, the greatest super heavyweight. This is a moniker that is self-identified with.
In the world, question mark?
In the world, maybe. We're going to take Bronson Reed and we're going to send him on an adventure to prove that he is the world's greatest super heavyweight. We're going to do a tour of the promotions that ends with him facing the Pinnacles, Wardlow.
Big men slapping meat, as Big E would
This
say.
This is a thing that we love here on Book It Vince is big men slapping meat.
Hey, you don't need those 5-star matches. give me a 5-minute match of just big men slapping me.
We don't need old guys. We don't need small guys. We want big men slapping meat.
I love Bronson Reed. I think he's so good. And I remember when he was slowly being featured more and more on NXT. And I think what really stood out for me was the ladder match that he was in, where I think Damian Priest ended up winning the North American title. But he looked so good in that match. I was like, oh, they're going to do something with him. And he did become a champion, which was really great. Again, wish that would have lasted longer and all that stuff. But I think that he is a great talent to that. Like, if someone doesn't pick him up, what are you doing?
I mean,
what are you doing?
Yes.
So
He's
your idea,
a huge hyper athletic man who can also, jump and do the top rope moves.
So your idea is he's been released. He's going now. It's, where is he going to go? What's he going to do? And he tours the independents, facing people, proving that he is the greatest super heavyweight in the world.
That's right. And I think we very often here on Book It Vince, we essentially just book AEW, which is what Martin told me before we started recording our episode.
I think it's solely just it's what we're enjoying right now. And so it's first thing that comes to our mind when we go, oh, what if we did this? Or, oh, I had this idea. It's just because it's like, watch what you watch, like what you like. And right now we're, just really into AEW because we're enjoying what they're doing over there. So it's just like that. But independents have started to pick up again. And people from AEW and people from Impact, people from ROH are going to are getting the opportunity to go to all these shows. Like GCW just popped up big because of Nick Gage showing up on Dynamite, but then also Matt Cardona winning the GCW title from him in that crazy ass death match.
Yeah.
So the indies are getting more light shown on them. And you're seeing people like, the likes of Archer, Ethan Page, Malachi Black, Orange Cassidy getting to go from getting super popular now on TV to these indie shows. And that's really great because you're putting more of a spotlight on these smaller promotions. So it's like when you said, oh yeah, Bronson, and he's going to these different companies and getting challenged or challenging different people. It's like, yeah, that'd be really cool to see, just because then it's like, it's more special for those audiences and those promotions. And it makes Bronson more, it allowed him to show off different sides of him and different skills, I think.
Yeah. And he's an incredibly charismatic guy as well. Like I couldn't really tell you like if he particularly had like a very distinct character in NXT. Like I do find him like incredibly like dynamic and very very entertaining to watch when he's in the ring, regardless of like what the match type is or um what exactly he's doing, like or who he's paired with. Like he always is very 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 entertaining and fun to watch.
Yeah, he's got a good sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
He's I think he's also likable in Levelhead. Like, yeah, it's if you want to pick apart like the psychology or like the character of it, I also don't think he got enough time to fully develop it. I think we were just starting to see like the like the really good stuff, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
after he won the North American title, big baby face. Like the fact that they,
Yes.
which also you kind of also get a little mad at because you go, you brought out his wife. He won that steel cage match and then you brought out his wife and you made it so this moment of where he was like, it took me 11 years to get to this point. You know, but and so that was, I think, getting the ball rolling on the big baby face. Good job. Of course, as always, if you're watching the video version, Anthony has his blue screen background where he tries to set up some sort of picture, and he has Bronson Reed doing his colossal splash off the top rope, but it's cutting off the top half of him, and all we just see is his legs. Good job.
It's like his crotch. His crotch is jumping onto my head. Oh
Look
my
out behind
gosh.
you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Bronson Reed.
But yeah, I think it was. I think he was just getting. I think it was literally just getting this ball rolling of like, you're gonna have this baby faced big guy who they're gonna try to stack the odds against him and everything. Like they had the short rivalry between like him and Legado del Fantasma, and then like his match with Adam Cole was so good too. And yeah, I think we were just seeing his character and like what he was going to do just was about to get started.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's
like him beating Austin Theory to get a shot at the title was the North American title was very cool. I'll pull up a picture from that. Hopefully, yes. There we go. There we go. That's what we wanted.
A big man doing a big splash like that. It's crazy. And what? Oh yeah, they call it the tsunami. That's what
Tsunami. Yeah.
Calling back to good old what was the tag team? Oh, Natural Disasters, I think they were called. It was Earthquake and what was the other dude's name? I'm blanking. Earthquake and something. It was a tag team in the like 90s, and they're these two giant dudes, and they were called the Natural Disasters. I'm trying to remember the other dude's name, but anyways, you continue on, and I will look this up.
Okay. Yes. All right. So the idea is Bronson Reed. He has been released unceremoniously from NXT.
Typhoon.
Oh, Typhoon.
Earthquake and Typhoon. Anyways.
So now, in a quest to prove he is the greatest super heavyweight in the world, we fast forward to his 30-day non-compete being over. And we see all of these indie promotions in the United States come back. Some of the big ones, you know, the GCWs, the MLWs, NWA having some studio shows. And maybe we involve a little bit of ROH or Impact. Who knows? And I think our first stop is possibly a GCW show where I think We could have Jeff Cobb, one Mr. Jeff Cobb, um, the pride of Guam, uh, featured in a match, and I think it should be undecided of who the person he's facing is, and that's when Bronson Reed shows up. Will he still go by Bronson Reed even in the Indies? I don't know.
Not too sure, but we'll just say
We'll say so.
we'll say so just for the sake of this.
Even though Jonah Rock is a very cool name. Yeah, so Bronson Reed shows up and he will be facing Jeff Cobb in a match at GCW.
Yeah.
And I think that is a really good starting off point for some of the other big guys that he's going to face, because Jeff Cobb is no slouch.
No.
If he hits that tour of the islands on you, it could be toast, Bronson.
It's definitely like, instead of going with say the drama of telling a story and all this stuff, maybe eventually it gets to that once we get to like what we plan this to eventually be against Wardlow. There are going to be some drama in there. It's more of like him going around and proving himself, having these matches with these big dudes to prove that he is the greatest super heavyweight, and just having these like indie matches where, you know, if it is ROH or if it is Impact or stuff like that, it does show up on their TV or their streaming platform or whatever it is. But then like having these indie shows where it's like having that how do I describe it? That raw indie crowd pop where it's like there's only like a couple hundred people there, maybe.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Jeff Cobb comes out and says, or, you know, he comes out and tells the crowd like, so I'm here to face some mystery opponent, whoever it is. I don't care. It's going to be, I'm just going to put you in line. I'm going to smash you down, and it's going to be the same results as every other week that I'm here.
Yeah.
Bring your ass out here and get this ass beating. And then
Get this ass beating.
And then you just have the song play or something, and then all you just see is it say like, I really loved where it was like Colossal Bronson Reed. And he just comes out and everybody loses their mind because this is like the first thing. Like he doesn't even promote it. He doesn't do anything. I love those. I love seeing those moments where at indie shows, it's just like this person just showed up.
Yeah.
Because then as a fan,
it's like a good concert, right? It's like a good concert when you like see a band or like an artist you like, and they're going to play this big hit that is like, that features somebody, and you're like, oh, whatever. They're just going to play the pre-recorded verse of this featured person. And then they just show up.
Mm-hmm.
They're just there. And everyone's like, oh. And I think that's the case for this debut match of Bronson Reed in the Indies. Is Jeff Cobb, like you said, calls whomever out. He's like, you know, I've done this show many times, and all they do is just wheel out some loser to face me, and they can never keep up. So let's do it again. Cut the check. I'm going to go have a beer.
Mm-hmm.
Bring out whomever you want. And then Colossal Bronson Reed. He comes out. And I think there's a opportunity here for them to just go face to face. And then the ref is probably just like, what's happening? Look at these huge men. And then the match starts, and we get into our first test of one of the greatest super heavyweights in the world. It's a classic match of big men slapping meat.
What what has been, and this is a question for you, is what has been like some of your favorite moments at like indie shows? Because what I love about indie shows, and I've only gone to a couple, is you get a lot of extra stuff, because it's not like TV where it's like, okay, this has to be a 5-minute match, a 10-minute match, whatever. You know, you do whatever to have the storyline, cut a promo. It's like you get these matches that are like 20, 30 minutes long, and you get a lot of like crowd interaction. You get like, they stop the match. They do, if they're more comedy inclined, they'll like do a bit, or like they'll get the crowd amped up and stuff. Like I was watching what was it? Ethan Page's vlog. Shout out to the vlog. Shout out to the vlog. And he had a match at I forget what indie promotion it was, but he had a match against JD Drake, and he vlogged the match and recorded the match too, and he cut in a bunch of that stuff, and they had like really funny moments of like back and forth stuff and everything, and I love that and I've seen that. So is there like, I think it'd just would be a really cool time to like get to have stuff like that instead of just the normal back and forth, you know?
Yeah. I've only also gone to a few indie shows. And the one that I really, really enjoyed was I went to Greektown Wrestling in Toronto with a friend of mine, and some of my other comedy associates and people that I've worked with before are a part of that promotion. Like Nugnar Gang, famously of Sportsnet's Aftermath, and RJ City. And it's run by this really awesome wrestler, hardcore Channing Decker. And they had Too Cold Scorpio at the night that I went to. And he was wrestling Puff, I think. And Puff is this like very funny, like big dude. And they had a dance off, and that was like really, really funny. And it was it was so great. Like Too Cold is just busting out moves, and Puff is very happy dancing in there. And there are just like other characters and people in indie shows that you don't necessarily see on TV all the time. And the energy is awesome. Just, I mean, everybody is just slamming beers and enjoying a night of sweaty men getting thrown around in the ring. And I'm very excited for them to potentially come back. Let's
for sure.
Let's support your local indie when it's possible, when we're out of this thing and we get to go to shows again, because the energy is so great.
I went to in around Hamilton, Ontario / Burlington, Ontario. I went to this convention called Con Bravo, and it's kind of like an internet pop culture convention sort of thing. But they had A1 Wrestling, which is the promotion that Ethan Page runs out of Hamilton. And there was a match. It was a fatal 5-way. I wish I could remember everyone who was in it, but it was a while ago. The only one that I distinctly remember was Jody Threat, I think her name is.
Oh yeah,
because
Jody Threat's awesome.
Because it was a fatal 5-way with 4 dudes and her, and she killed it. She was great. And I wish I could remember the other dudes. I'd have to go back and look at it. But there was this big dude in it, who was like a super heavyweight. And at one point he gets thrown out and he goes over the top rope and he stumbles into and there had to have been like 50 of us watching. It was really cool to have the wrestling show there at the convention, but it did feel kind of really out of place, but it was still really cool. And he goes tumbling out, and I'm sitting in the front row. I'm one of the only people sitting in the front row, because I thought, this is, how often you get to do that. He rolls out and he stumbles and then falls and sits directly next to me, and he's just sweating and he's just breathing hard, and he just leans over to me. He's like, man, they hit really hard. And I'm like, yeah, man, you got to get back in there. He's like, I will.
Yeah.
I just need a breather. And it's like you
Yeah,
have
that's
those kind
great.
of, you have those moments and stuff. And I think that that would be cool to see in getting back on point. It would be really cool to see happen in these types of matches where it's like, yeah, you have this small crowd and then, you know, Bronson doesn't announce where he's going to go. He maybe just says, like, the new thing now is like, you just say a date and that gets all the speculation. It gets everybody speculating. And so then he just shows up and then you have this like banger match between Jeff Cobb and Bronson Reed. And you get to have these moments of crowd interaction, fun bits. And also since it's his like return, you get to really highlight that. And yeah, and then Bronson wins.
Yeah.
And I think then this is where I think this is then where he like makes his declaration.
Promo time.
Where it's like, I am back. I'm the greatest heavyweight in all of, or greatest super heavyweight in all of professional wrestling. I want to challenge everyone everywhere. And if you think you can take me on, step up. And
yeah, exactly. It's as simple as that. For him to declare this essentially open challenge. He's like, I'll go wherever and I will wrestle whenever and I will destroy whoever is in my way. Super heavy weight. Woo. All right. And I mean, this is going to be a pretty straightforward booking here, but essentially we're getting a tour of some of the best indie promotions and smaller major promotions within, I'd say, North America. We'll keep it in North America for now because we know once he proves himself as the best super heavyweight in the world, he has to enter the G1.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
That's a whole nother thing. There's
cool.
A whole nother fantasy booking that we could see of Bronson Reed's run in the G1.
So I guess then it's like, who do we think would be good matches? Where would they be? What would they be? A name that immediately came to my mind when we were kind of just going back and forth before recording about like who would be good matches or like who is out there that would be a great match is first name that came to my mind is Big Damo.
Oh, yes.
Formerly known as
Killian Dane.
But now he's, you know, he got released too. And now he's starting to make his way to appear on Independence and whatever. And I think like him showing up and challenging Bronson somewhere would be really cool.
Okay, here's a question. I don't know if you have the answer for this, Marty, but has Bronson Reed wrestled Killian Dane in NXT before?
I imagine so. That's my answer.
And what's the record? So as you look that up in the powerful World Wide Web, I think this would be a good opportunity maybe for them to step into, or for Bronson to visit the first sort of bigger promotion, which would be the NWA. The NWA would be a great spot for him to attempt to make a name for himself. And I think it would be a great bridge between a bigger promotion and the indies. So I'd say he shows up on NWA and challenges Big Damo, who maybe is doing some work there a little bit before him.
I've only found one. I only found one match. And it was February 26th, 2020. and Killian Dane defeated Bronson Reed.
Excellent. This is the answer I was looking for. So they're in NWA. It's that beautiful studio wrestling, and I think they size up face to face. This is one of Bronson Reed's first his first challenges. Or this is one of his first challenges after he declares that he is going to go on a quest to be the greatest super heavyweight in the world. And since let's say hypothetically in the Book of Vince universe, Big Damo has been working in NWA and has been making some moves. So he's like, I'm gonna come and knock you down. We have wrestled in the past, but this time I'm coming out on top, baby.
Well, this also is a chance for, I think, Damo to be like, so you're declaring that you are the greatest super heavyweight in the world, but you've never beaten me.
Oh.
So easy booking there.
Yeah, I get we see them throw each other around. We see Damo try to hit that Veda bomb. And of course, all's well that ends well with a tsunami from the top rope, squishing the Big Damo. And we have to move somewhere else to another promotion.
It's also like some of these matches could definitely be like, it all depends on how, like, because we don't necessarily know how some of these wrestlers are being booked currently. You know, if they're more of a heel, if they're more of a babyface, blah, 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 blah. So you could have some of these matches either end with like respect, or it's where, you know, certain people more experienced look like, oh, they're gonna like, are they gonna crush Bronson Reed's dreams early? And then Bronson manages to fight back, crowd cheering, building up the strength, and then coming up on
the comeback
top.
sequence. Yeah. I think for this particular interaction with Big Damo and in NWA, I think once Bronson Reed comes out on top, it is an acknowledgement of respect between two big men. And Killian Dane wishes our man Bronson Reed good wishes and fond farewells as he continues on his quest to become the greatest super heavyweight. Two men who respect each other. And maybe this could come back later, because technically if and when in the Book Vince universe he beats Big Damo, the record between those two sits at 1-1.
True. So then, all right, I got two. I have in my head two people that could be interesting.
Okay.
It just depends on where, I guess. So do we want Impact to kind of come near the end of this tale?
I will say yes.
Okay, so another indie show, maybe it's like MLW or something. I'm not too familiar with MLW, so if this is not true, oops. But I think then another like cool big guy to then bring up who is doing tours of the indies, because you know, AEW is letting the wrestlers go and do other shows because that's what they do. You gotta have Lance Archer.
Oh, yes.
He is a big man.
The Murder Hawk himself.
Yes, the Murder Bird.
The Murder Bird.
The Murder Bird.
Everybody dies.
And you know, how does it come about? Could definitely be an exchange online. Build it up that way. You know, maybe a bit of out of respect, since like right now Archer's kind of booked, not necessarily babyface, but like kind of a face, kind of in that middle of like, I'm just here to fight people. And maybe Archer calls him out calls him out, but says, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, it's a single tweet and it's just Archer tweeting at Bronson Reed going, what are you doing on this date?
And then I think Bronson Reed should already be booked for MLW. I think like we should know that he's facing somebody, and he should be facing. We were talking about this earlier. Black Taurus, AAA wrestler, big man dressed up as a bull, and he is a part of. I think he's. This could be wrong, but I believe he is a part of the big evil Lucha Libre faction in MLW now. Or he's a part of maybe he's a part of Decay. Okay. Anyway, he's a part of a big faction right now.
He's a big man who dresses up like a bull.
he looks scary. So I think he should be scheduled to fight Bronson Reed. And this is a famous. This is a bit more of like a WB style booking in this particular match. But I think before that match can happen, Bronson Reed goes to the ring, and then we see Black Taurus just get thrown like through the Titantron, and then the music. And then Lance Archer's music plays, and Lance Archer just runs straight to the ring, sprints down to the ring, and Jake the Snake is there too, and he's just like, "Get him!" And then we proceed to have a bit of an internet feud blow off match between Bronson Reed and the Murder Hawk himself, Lance Archer,
because it could be going on like this could be like. Bronson makes his, declaration of like, I will go anywhere and face anyone. And then it's just been this buildup online of these two eventually facing off against each other. And so then it's like, booked for the show is Bronson Reed versus Black Taurus. And then Lance Archer just shows up and goes, screw that. You're facing me.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that gives way for like maybe a match between, is it Tauros?
Yeah, maybe that's what it's probably is how you pronounce it. Black
Tauros and
Black
Archer
Taurus.
And Archer at some point too. So like, you get to have a lot of fun with the indie getting to book people against other people and stuff. So and they have a surprise match and that would be pretty crazy. Seeing, I would be in shock to try to see Archer pick up Bronson into the friggin' what's it called? What's his move called? I forget.
Be here the thing. The razor's edge.
No, it's not the razor's edge. But because his finisher is he picks them up basically over his head. And so it's if he could do that to Bronson, that'd be crazy.
I think he in the match, you have to tease that he is going to do that, or he gets him pretty close.
Yeah.
To that move. And then Bronson Reed is just simply too much of a super heavyweight for Lance Archer to hoist into proper position to execute his move.
The blackout.
That's what it's called? Really?
Inverted crucifix power bomb.
Inverted crucifix power bomb. There we go. Inverted crucifix power bomb is escaped by Bronson Reed. And we get one of these tsunami
Splash. Yeah. I think that's cool.
And then I think we get some he'll tour some other smaller promotions as well, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna come to Toronto. He's gonna do Greektown Wrestling. He'll face big time Bill Collier, who is kind of looks like Big Cass.
Okay.
And that could be a fun match.
Big Cass would be another good one.
Yeah, that's actually who I thought you were going to
No,
make him face in Impact. I was like,
no,
oh,
I have
is
a different
Bronson
idea.
is Bronson going to face W Morrissey himself?
No, I have a different one for that. Do we just want to do we just want to like yeah, he goes to other smaller promotions, he faces other people, and then I think it's like you got to have like there would be an ROH one. I'm not too sure who would be a good ROH person. Because I'm not too familiar with ROH. I know like Jake something wrestles there.
Jake
Um,
something wrestles more in Impact, I think.
he is an Impact, but I think he's one of those guys that does a lot of other indie stuff as well.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
He was also wrestling at that show that I went to with Two Cold
oh
Scorpio
yeah.
and Puff. Yeah, it was cool. Jake something.
Um, I think then in Impact, who is the biggest dude? There are a couple of Impact has some big dudes. You got Morrissey.
Mhm.
You got Rhino.
Oh yeah.
But I think the one that we all would really, I would love to see. Moose.
Ooh, okay. Moose is great. Is Moose technically a super heavyweight? I don't know.
I think so.
I don't know.
Super heavyweight. Like you look at like who has been classed as them, and it's like big dudes or really tall dudes. So, and Moose is a big dude. He's a big dude.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. I could see how that would be pretty awesome.
So I think that would be cool. Rhino would be another really interesting one, just for the sake of like Rhino is like that veteran, and like getting to put over a younger. It's so funny to say like up and coming, but it's just because Bronson is more of like up and coming in terms of like the mainstream scene, while it's like
Yeah.
all these dudes that are like people are just finding out about have been wrestling for over a decade.
Yeah. Okay, so that's good in Impact. I did find someone who I do want Bronson Reed to face in ROH, and that is the I don't know if this is a nickname that he has called at all. The French Canadian cyborg PCO. He is
PCO.
very old,
Mm-hmm.
but he is awesome, and he's a bigger guy as well. So I think they could have a banger in ROH. And I love PCO. I think his character work is really funny, and like he's too old to be doing the things that he's doing, and I do appreciate that he puts his body on the line for entertainment.
He was ROH champion not too long ago.
Yeah, he's awesome. Okay, so yeah, PCO versus Bronson Reed in ROH. I think PCO tries to hit like a moonsault onto a table and misses, and Bronson Reed ruins him, and then heads to another promotion. We could save Impact for almost the second last one. Is PWG still going on?
Yes,
I think it's going on, right?
Yeah, they've started having shows again, and some people have popped up. I think that was where Black appeared at recently, and Orange Cassidy.
Oh,
so yeah,
you're right. So okay, we got PWG. Let's say in a fictional Book It Vince universe, there is another batch of releases. There's somebody who has been put into a faction that failed miserably, that we on this podcast have tried to save multiple times, and that would be, of course, Retribution.
Yeah,
and that would, of course, be T-Bar, aka Dominic Dijakovic. Let's have him at PWG, where he has had some very, very amazing matches, of course, against the great Keith Lee and some other big boss. And I think that's a big indie kind of final boss before he goes to the bigger promotions again. Like, let's say this is even before he goes to the ROH one. This is maybe shortly after MLW. He shows up at PWG and wrestles Dominic Dijakovic in a slobber knocker in a 5-star Money Meltzer classic.
I'm pretty sure they had matches in NXT against each other. I think Dijakovic came out on top. That might have been when it was like he was like trying to that he was warming up to face Keith Lee for the North American title. I think it was leading up to that. So, but that'd be great. That'd be so good.
And I think that is the match that sort of stops the run of indie promotions, or like and then he starts just appearing on big shows. Not the Big Show. That got canceled on Netflix. Sorry. But he is appearing on other big promotions. And yeah, that starts with, I think, the ROH match against PCO. Then we go to Impact. We could do NW.
Oh,
we could do NWA again.
Here's a great way for him to get on Impact. So you have him go to ROH, right?
Yeah.
He faces PCO.
Yeah.
And then not Moose, but Morrissey.
Yeah.
Then at ROH, I don't know if they would technically, it's all about if everybody wants to play nice. And a lot of people do, which is great. But in our universe, imagine then at ROH, Keith Lee, or Jesus, Bronson wins, and PCO shows him respect to the ring, that sort of thing, and then out walks Morrissey, or it's a video, and he says, and he calls Bronson out, and he says, Bronson, you want to play where the big boys play? You think that you are the greatest in the world? You haven't begun to enter into the world of the greats.
I'm 7 foot tall, and you can't teach that.
I don't think he does that anymore. But anyways, but he basically says, like, you want to play, come and play where the big boys play.
Yeah,
I'll see you at Impact. And calls him out.
Yeah. And then he gets just absolutely crushed. Like Bronson Reed just squashes Morrissey. And he's like, and then I think in the height of adrenaline, and him and Bronson Reed being on a big show again on TV, he's like, like, you got anybody else? You said this is where the big boys play. You got anybody else? Bring them out. And that's when Moose's music will hit.
Ooh,
and
okay,
I don't think they wrestle. I don't think they wrestle yet. I think they just get face to face, and I think they save that for maybe a pay-per-view where it's like, okay, now Moose is against Bronson Reed, and you show all of these video packages of kind of like his trials so far, and maybe this is what we should use for Wardlow, but I kind of like, I want him to have a big pay-per-view match before he goes to AEW.
No, I think that's cool. I think that's a really good idea, because then it'll expose him. The more people we can build into that story of like what he's been doing over the past couple weeks and months and stuff like that. And I think the way then it goes to Wardlow is, I think, who knows where all this Pinnacle versus Inner Circle thing is going to lead to, whatever. What if Wardlow on TV declares that he is the greatest super heavyweight of all time?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. What if like Wardlow is in some sort of feud with Jake Hager again, but this time he beats Jake Hager so bad that Jake Hager is like off TV basically. So that there is like a spot for another big guy to come in. And it's like, yeah, he's like, Wardlow beats Jake Hager and looks right into the camera, and he
Or
says,
Tony Schiavone can come down the ring
"Ooh."
to do
Yeah.
the classic. Here, I'm here to interview
Yeah.
this person, and then they just take the microphone, because that's literally every single time Tony Schiavone's in the
Yeah.
ring. They just take the microphone. Doesn't matter.
I want to
No,
I
but-
want to see a supercut of all the times in AEW that the wrestlers have just taken the microphone away from Tony Schiavone.
That'd be so good. Oh man. But yeah, I think what you're saying, like, I think it's this thing of like, Tony probably could ask him like, you've been on a hot streak.
Mm.
Who do you want to face next? And I think that's where he doesn't call out anyone, but he says, you know, I think if anything, he basically just reuses Bronson's promo in some form or fashion.
That'd be funny.
Where he says like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter where they are, who they are, whenever, I will face them all because I am the greatest super heavyweight of all in the world. And that's then where everybody starts speculating.
Percolating the dirt sheets, the wrestling journalists, the Reddits, the IWC. Everybody is going crazy. Oh my God. Wardlow just called out Bronson Reed. What's going to happen? Is he going to appear on Dynamite? Where's he going to show up? When are we going to get Bronson Reed versus Wardlow? Oh my God. Then that is the inciting incident that brings us closer to the match, to the pinnacle of this episode, if you will.
I think then you have on Dynamite, you have Wardlow taking on some of the big guys, but kind of more like the mid card dudes. Like you could have him face Bear Country.
You could have him face Evil Uno. Actually, Evil Uno's not even really a super heavyweight anymore.
No, he's not. He's yeah. Who else is a big dude? Cesar Bononi.
Ooh.
Cesar.
Cesar.
Who else is a big dude?
Big dudes.
Yeah,
AW.
Archer. You got Miro. You got
Miro.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of yeah. You could then also have people come in from other promotions too, and so we do get to see Wardlow actually like dominate.
Yes.
And then how does Bronson show up? Surprise? Run-in? Scheduled appearance? I think surprise. It's hard to hide a big man like that, because the way that a lot of surprises have happened before is like, oh, they're really the cameraman. You know, that sort of stuff. It's like, you can't hide Bronson.
Yeah.
So it's either got to be music hits and he comes out and Wardlow runs, and then it's like, Bronson Reed is here on Rampage.
Yeah, we try to debut him on Rampage. Yeah, that would make sense. Oh, Brian Cage is that other big man he can Wardlow can run through. Let's see, who else would be another fun person for him to run through before they inevitably meet.
But so I think that, you know, yeah, he calls him out, he does all this stuff. Maybe Bronson goes on an indie show and like does a promo where like he doesn't necessarily call out Wardlow, but he kind of like hints at it, and so then that's more speculation, whatever. Maybe he throws
Luchasaurus.
Maybe Luchasaurus would be good. Yep. Maybe Bronson in this like indie show promo says something like, it's that thing of like he is calling him out, but he doesn't deliberately say it. And maybe there's a line of like, how do I make this sound cool? It's not going to sound cool, but it's just going to be silly. He says something on the lines of like, I'm about to go on a rampage.
Ooh.
And then people get the hint of like, oh, he's going to AEW. Cool.
Yeah, and of course, the typing, the percolating, the internet wrestling community, the Twitters, everyone's like, oh my God, he said rampage.
I love that. I love that our stereotypical like wrestling fan was like, oh my God, he said rampage.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Bronson Reed's gonna face Wardlow.
Yeah. That's the best unintentional JR impersonation that you've done. Yeah, I mean, when we're talking about the internet wrestling community, that is us too. So we are those people as well.
But so yeah, I think I think the best crowd reaction you could get is Wardlow beats someone. He then is beating him up. And then boom, Bronson shows up. It's not creative, but it would be a cool pop. It'd be a great pop for that all of a sudden. Boom, colossal. Bronson Reed shows up. You called me out, brother. I'm here.
Yeah. I think there has to be this sort of storyline within AEW that is very similar to the Bronson Reed trajectory in the indies, so that you're like, oh, like it's pretty much the same thing that's going on with Bronson Reed, so that those two asteroids can collide at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I think, the biggest test for Wardlow probably would be Brian Cage, theoretically. So he beats Brian Cage on Rampage, and he's just like, yes, I am the greatest super heavyweight in the colossal Bronson Reed. And then he just runs in and he just decks him, and then they just start scrapping. And then at that point, Wardlow like maybe is saved by MJF or something for once. Like MJF finally is reciprocates like the ass saving that Wardlow constantly does for him. And then that sets up like this, maybe it's like, oh, next week's Dynamite, we're gonna have the climax of the quest to be the world's greatest super heavyweight between Wardlow and Bronson Reed.
Well, you could have we finally hear from, or it's like Bronson Reed made a huge impact last week showing up on Rampage. We finally get to hear from the Colossal One himself. And this is where then Bronson can cut a promo basically being like, I busted my ass for the past year getting to where I am, while proving to everyone that I am the greatest and that I will be the greatest and I will face anyone, anywhere, and any time. And Wardlow thinks that he can just sit here taking in his TV money, beating up small guys here and there. Yes, he's a face, so he says, of course, I see him as a respectable competitor. He has taken on the likes of people like Brian Cage, like Lance Archer, like Luchasaurus. But I said that I am the greatest super heavyweight in the world, and I'm here to prove it on the biggest stage of all.
Oh yeah.
And so, obviously, heel tactics. Wardlow probably tries to like duck him a couple of times until finally it's like, it's decided next week will be a contest like no other before. a match to determine who is the greatest super heavyweight in the world.
That's right. With special guest referee Mark Henry.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Let's throw that in there. Why the fuck
Oh,
not?
yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, sure.
The world's strongest man should be the referee for this match.
That'd be cool.
Just
Work
to
that
make
in
sure
somehow. Work that in somehow. Maybe it's a confrontation, and Mark Henry will be one of the commentators on Rampage, so there is that. But he could be like a mediary and like a face to face sort of thing, and that's where it's like decided. We don't need to figure out the specifics, but
the minutia of that. Yeah,
we'll just say that's what it's going to be. Is that Mark Henry, special guest referee, in this battle between Wardlow and Bronson Reed.
That's great. That's a match that we want to see, baby.
And I think, the big thing is having Bronson probably go over. It would be.
He has to.
Yeah. I think obviously we're booking this whole thing to be like, we love Bronson Reed. We want to see him succeed. We want him to see him do all these crazy matches and have it be like a crazy cool time. It could even then turn into like a best of 3 matches where it's like one match, then another match, and then it leads to like a final match. That's like a crazy like steel cage maybe. Because you could have like people interfere and all this stuff, all the schmaz of professional wrestling. But I think ultimately in the end, Bronson does go over. And does he stay at AEW? I don't know.
No, because he gets a one-way ticket to Japan to enter the G1.
Yeah, finally the forbidden doors open, and he gets to go over to New Japan and rock it over there. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
He has to fight a lot of people over there because there are some fantasy matches that he's gonna go against Minoru Suzuki. He's gonna go against Bad Luck Fale. He's gonna go against Ishii. There's big dudes that Bronson Reed can wrestle over there. He could wrestle Evil. Damn, that G1, that's gonna be crazy if he gets in there. Whoa. Just a matchup I want to see, boys.
But there you go. I think that's a booking. I think that's great. Just seeing all these cool indie matches, kind of the tour of the indies and stuff, and getting to face people that you never think, and it's such a good time to be a wrestling fan because everybody that's not WWE wants to all work with each other. And wants to put on these incredible matches and these incredible feuds and stuff. So, I still like WWE. It's just wish they would play nice. I wish they would understand where things are headed in the world of professional wrestling. But anyways, let us know online. Where do you think Bronson Reed should go? Who do you think he should face? And Bronson, if you're out there and you catch this episode, come on and book your dream match. We'd love to have you on.
That's right. We will be incessantly tweeting at you as well as Danhausen. We're gonna continue a tweet spree until one of you wrestlers joins us here on Book It Vince.
But so to close out the episode, we have our question of the week and our match recommendation. Of course, as always, you can submit your questions that you want us to answer here. They can be weird, wacky, or serious questions. You can submit those by tweeting at us at Book of Vince Pod on Twitter, or by going to our website, unknownairfilms.com/bookofvince. Also, that's where you can check out all of our match recommendations, all the episodes, links to everything over there. This week's question is quite very simple. It's It's nothing crazy. We might have asked it before, but I couldn't remember if we did or not. It's just a simple one. What's your favorite entrance music?
This is too much. This is simple. This is a too heavy of a question.
It's a simple question, but it's a simple question, but it's also a question where you go, oh shit, I gotta think about this. Damn.
Okay. All right. I got it. I'll go with a very recent one. And this is also a tribute to a recently released wrestler within the WWE brand. I was at SummerSlam Toronto in, God, what do I want to say? 2019.
Yeah.
When one wrestler debuted his new gimmick. You might know this. It was The Fiend, Bray Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time we saw The Fiend entrance.
Yeah.
And he was wrestling Finn Balor at SummerSlam. And I was in the crowd. And it was so awesome. I was sitting pretty far away, but you could see like the lantern with his head that was made by horror legend Tom Savini, I believe. And it was so sick. The theme, I think Code Orange did the remixed theme, which was like his old theme, but it was like metal. And there's like the hurt heel stuff, like the screaming. Oh, it was awesome. It was so awesome. And that was before they started doing the stupid like red light during the entire match for the Fiend. Like that was just in regular light, which didn't hurt my eyes. and that was like one of the most awesome like ones recently.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be my answer for now. What's yours, Marty?
I like, as you're talking about that, it did make me think back to, I think it was the episode that we did with Melissa where we said favorite and least favorite entrance themes, but I don't remember what I said then. But what I'll say is number one favorite of all time, no matter what, is Edge. Like Edge's theme is my favorite forever. But one, I'll say a recent one that comes on and I'm like, it's interesting how like AEW, like for certain people, they're like, oh, let's get, like they started getting popular music, but it strangely really fits the people who are getting it. Like the fact that they got the Pixies for Orange Cassidy, it strangely really fits him. And when
it's perfect, yeah, it really is.
Him and the
perfect.
Best Friends come out, it's so good. But like I love and it's probably not going to last for too much longer, so I'll enjoy it when I do get to see it, is the Ways theme music with Gargano and Candice LeRae and Theory and Indy Hartwell. I love it because it's just so, it's like the Way is such an interesting group because like the logo and like how they kind of carry themselves are like kind of like superheroes, which is interesting. But then there's like really weird, messed up family.
Yeah.
But like the entrance music is like, you have like that singer come in and then it goes to this like heavy guitar and stuff and like the storm sound and everything. And it just fits them perfectly for some reason. I like it a lot. So.
Yes. I agree. And one more to wrap it up is when Io Shirai turned heel and got her new entrance.
Oh yeah.
That was awesome. And of course, like her all her takeover entrances when Poppy shows up. Poppy, who I really genuinely disliked when I first found out about her. But now I'm like, oh, okay, Poppy is awesome.
Yeah, I know. There's some great music on NXT. But yeah. So tell us in the comments, online, reach out to us. Tell us your favorite entrance music. And we'll give you I was about to say give you a rating, but that does
give you a rating.
But we will reply if you tweet us your favorite entrance music for sure. To close out the episode, match recommendation. This one kind of came about because it's my turn this week, and it kind of came about because of there's certain wrestlers out there who have been released, are starting to tease their returns, tease their comebacks. And one of them is a man by the name of Buddy Murphy, who put out who's put out some videos recently about him coming back in some way. Where, I don't know. Against who knows? But it made me think about some of his matches because I just think he's an incredible athlete. So I'm recommending this week his match at WrestleMania 35 against, I forget. It was match,
so good that I forgot.
It was the match where he won the Cruiserweight Championship. I will quickly look it up because I feel bad about. I think it's Cedric Alexander, but it might not have been. Oh gosh. Okay, hold on a second. WrestleMania 35. Just gotta double check it. Just gotta remember who was it. Was it Tony Nese? No, it wasn't Tony Nese. What are you talking about? What you talking about?
What'd you talk about, Tony Nese?
It might have or is that where he lost it? Oh no. It wasn't at WrestleMania 35. That's where he lost the Cruiserweight Championship. My gosh. I thought about this and I was like, wait, what? It was at Super Showdown in Australia, because that was the same Super Showdown. What was it? The Iconics got to wrestle. Buddy Murphy won the Cruiserweight Championship in his home country. And that's why it was so, that's why it was such a big moment for him. I remember that. And
was it against?
It was Cedric Alexander. Yeah, it was again. He beat Cedric Alexander at Super Showdown in Australia to become Cruiserweight champion. And he was a heel at the time, but like it was such a big, cool moment for him. And then he was a really good Cruiserweight champion. He like beat everybody in the division. So
he was
there we go. Buddy Murphy versus Cedric Alexander at Super Showdown. That's my recommendation. There we go.
Thank you.
Go watch it. We'll link it on our website, so you can just click it or look it up. That'll do it for this episode. It was a good one.
Oh yeah.
We booked a big man in his return to the wrestling scene, and it sucks that a lot of people, a lot of these wrestlers are getting cut. Kind of for no reason. But they are extremely talented. And, I think that they are going to land on their feet and go do some amazing things. And I think that if you enjoy these people enough, go follow what they do and go support them where you can, it's like,
go to those pro wrestling tees stores, order their shirts. Like the tweets, tell them to come on Book It Vince.
I would love that.
We would love that. And yes,
for sure.
Wrestling.
Thank you very much for listening and or watching. As always, you can follow everything that we do here at Book It or at Unknown Error by following us online at UE_films, our live streams, our gaming YouTube channel, all that sort of stuff. And you can follow myself on Twitter and Instagram at Barton_minute. You can follow Mr. Anthony Hall
at Hall and Jokes on Instagram and Twitter.
And you can follow the podcast itself on Twitter at BookAdvancePod. Tweet at us, retweet, follow our live tweeting of events and pay-per-views. But thank you very much for hanging out with us this week. You have yourself a good one. Go watch some wrestling and stay safe out there. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.